alone. You are here for the greater good of all, the greater good of all. We are here for the greater good of all, greater good of all, greater good of all. We are here for the greater good of all, greater good of all, the greater good of all, the greater good of
all. So taking a deep breath in and slowly releasing it as you let go of everything that has come before this moment, anything that may come after. Relaxing, dropping the shoulders, settling into this one perfect moment. Sensing the life-giving presence of the divine. Breathing in, breathing out, and feeling the love that fills you, radiates through your body. And then consciously sending that love back out into the room, into the community, into the world. And feel the love that returns to you. One constant flow, moving to you and through you. With every breath, feel and know yourself as a conduit for love. Sense your interconnection with all that is, as your love spreads to all beings. Know that offering your love is a powerful way to share your light. In this enlightened state, we bring awareness now to our global community, reminded that as we are connected by love, so are we connected by the very air we breathe, by the water that gives life to all, by the soil that sustains us. Sensing a radiant web of consciousness that surrounds and infuses the planet, and seeing every being as a point of light in that web, every human and other than human creature, radiating with Spirit's light. The living waters, wherever they may flow, infused with presence, intelligence, and sentience. The wind, the clouds, the stars, the planets, and all that lies beyond, an integral part of one whole, one light, one life. Acknowledging and feeling our connection with all of life, our collective work here is empowered. We are creating an atmosphere of wholeness, both within and without. Our communal prayer and meditation leave an imprint of peace, of love, of grace on the world for all time. This month our practice is to return to love. Why do we make a return to love over and over again? Because love is what it's all about. The only thing that matters. The only thing that's real. We know that love has everything to do with everything. We're talking about love in the absolute sense, the self-givingness of spirit as all of creation, the one source, by whatever name you call them, becoming all that is. As self-reflective human expressions, we recognize ourselves as conduits through which God is becoming, through which love is flowing. As we give of ourselves in the world, we are serving as channels for God's love. Our acts of service may be big or small. I must agree with J.R.R. Tolkien when he said, "I have found that it is the small everyday deeds of ordinary folks that keep the darkness at bay." Small acts of kindness and love. What small acts of kindness and love have you offered lately? What small acts have been offered to you? What can you do to help keep the darkness at bay? What is one act of kindness and love that you will share in the coming week? I know that Spirit can do for me only that which I allow it to do through me. You and I are vehicles through which the infinite universal flow of love moves. The more I allow this flow to move through me, the greater my expression of spirit in the world becomes. The more freely and lovingly I give of myself, the greater the flow of love moving through all areas of my life. And yet, I do not give so that I might receive. I give from my sincere desire to serve.
All religions tell us that love is a divine quality. Buddhism sees love as a fundamental, transformative power that is essential to achieving enlightenment. Bhakti Yoga is the Hindu path of unconditional love and devotion. And in the Christian scriptures, John the Evangelist goes so far as to say, God is love. Contemplating that phrase, God is love, we find that everything that God is, love must be. The omnipotent creative power of the universe, omniscient, infinite intelligence and wisdom, fully present within and throughout all of creation, infinite in scope, capacity, and possibility, unlimited, unconditional love is truly all there is. Since love is all there is, it is what you are. It is what I am. Love is who we are. Love is why we were born. We are the presence of divine love on earth. When we remember this great truth, that love fills our hearts. It inspires our thoughts, our emotions. It guides our actions and transforms our world. The word apostle means one who is sent forth. Rabbi Yeshua sent the apostles forth to teach his message of love. And God has commissioned all of us as apostles of love. We have been sent forth to love everything and everyone, to drench this world with divine love, until all that is unlike love vanishes into its native nothingness. You are the beloved one with whom God is well pleased. You are the light of the world. We truly are the ones we've been waiting for. In our 3 minutes of shared silent meditation this morning, I invite you to contemplate yourself as God's beloved, as one of the Creator's apostles of love, sent forth to help bring heaven to earth. You have within you an infinite wellspring of love, bubbling up from that place within you where spirit resides. Find that spring and let the divine love flow out from you into your world. O divine beloved, thank you for this gracious gift of love that you give to us and through us. Thank you for this beloved community of blessed souls who share your love with one another. May we always stay connected to that infinite wellspring of spiritual love within us, so that we may share it freely and never feel depleted. Love is who and what we are, but we cannot stop there. It must also be what we do, for it is only when our every thought, word, and action are inspired and motivated by divine love that we can make a difference. And loving those with whom we most vehemently disagree often brings the most powerful transformation. As Taizé continues, we open our hearts, minds, and souls to Reverend Diana's inspiring message of love, knowing that we are transformed by love, that love is all there is, and therefore, love has everything to do with it.
In the words of Khalil Gibran, some of you say joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Meister Eckhart had a different way of expressing the same idea. Love is the root of all joy and sorrow. In other words, it is the depth of the love we have felt for another, the ways we have willingly given of ourselves to a beloved, that determines the depth of our grief upon losing them. There is an inherent sense of balance and harmony between the love and grief experienced in a human life. Moving between the two again and again, we come to know our own capacities. We find our own strength, courage, and resilience. We sense the vastness of our own hearts, the depth of our own feeling. Our willingness to give and to serve. We move into greater wholeness as we move back and forth between the two. As we recognize the love that dwells within us, even in the midst of sorrow, and as we choose again and again, in service to something greater than ourself, to return to love.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? love, to serve and remember love. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, to serve and remember? To love, to serve and remember. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, to serve and remember? To love, to serve and remember. To love, to serve and remember. To love, to serve and remember. Love, 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 serve and
Breathing in this moment, I recognize that there is one power, one presence, one truth and divine energy, one life that I call God, Great Spirit, universe, an ever-abundant source of pure light and perfect love, forever expressing as all that is, both seen and unseen. It is experiencing itself as me, as my life, as you and your life, on this earthly plane, right here and right now. I am one with the Spirit, serving as a conduit for its light and love to be made manifest in the world. And I know this is true for every being. I acknowledge and honor the spark of divinity in each precious one. The spirit of love burns just a little bit brighter in me and in the world every time I choose compassion over judgment, caring over indifference, generosity over greed, peace over violence. I am mindful of these choices as I am making them, trusting in the power within to support and sustain me as I bring each one into action. Over and over again, I return to love. And each time I do, it gets a little bit easier. Easier to recognize when I have strayed. Easier to put judgments aside. And easier to find the willingness to shift into the flow of God's grace. I'm so grateful for my growth in consciousness, grateful for the purification of my thoughts, words, and actions, grateful for the blessings that shower my life every day. I give thanks for the many graces that flow throughout my days, those that are welcome and appear as good, and those that push me to grow in character, resilience, humility, and faith. Grounded in this deep gratitude, I release my powerful word, knowing that Spirit always responds by corresponding. My prayer is answered by God's loving and lawful presence, even as it is spoken. And so I rest and leave it to divine timing and process. It is done. And so it is. Amen. I invite you to bring your awareness back into your body. Maybe notice the atmosphere in the room as the air touches your skin. Wiggle a little bit if you want to. When you feel ready, gently opening your eyes and allowing your gaze to rest wherever it lands. Maybe looking around to see who is celebrating here with us this morning. And as we close our meditation today, we offer the opportunity for you to share of your financial good with our community in support of the work that we're doing in the world. If you're joining us online today, you can go to mysticheart.org and you'll find a donate button and a mailing address. So we thank you in advance for your gifts. They make it possible for us to do our good work. We pledge to grow them and extend them out into the world. So as we are taking part in this practice, sacred practice of circulation today, I offer you a beautiful song from Gary Lynn Floyd, Love Cover Me.
As time has unfolded me, it has revealed to me life's nothing less than sublime. And with every thought I make, every last breath I take, may I be gracious and kind. Love, I invite you to open up this this heart of mine. Love cover me, light any darkness. Love cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love cover me. Love cover me. Kindness wash over me. Make me a symphony. Play every note you can find. Make me reverberate, gently deactivate, slowly flow out of my mind. Find me a melody, dance and let my anthem be. Love cover me, light any darkness. Love cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love cover me. Love cover me. Love, 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 love. Sing that with me. Love, 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 love. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love cover me, light any darkness. Love cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred, and guide me to be faithful and strong. Love cover me. Love cover me. Love cover me. Love cover me. Love cover me.
And so we say thank you for these gifts as they're given today, knowing that they support this community in supporting the greater community. I know that each gift is given of spirit. It comes through each of our hearts and our hands and moves out into the world. So I say thank you, Spirit. Thank you to each one. And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen. So feel free to grab a cup of something warm in the coffee room. If you want, meet us back at 10:30 for a conscious conversation. Some may go, some may come. We never quite know. And if you are leaving, thank you for being here this morning. We'll bless you on your way with a song to whatever your destination.
May your soul always find what it's looking for. May your heart always lead the way. May you live in peace and harmony. And may love always fill your day. May your path be strewn with happiness. May success find you everywhere. May you always embrace compassion and grace, and may God always answer your prayer. May you always embrace compassion
beautiful day. Maybe we'll see you back in a few.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please let my words speak for you as I say, good morning, God. Thank you for this beautiful day, and thank you for all of the beautiful people inside. Thank you for my spiritual family, the family of my heart. So this morning, I bring myself into this one place, and in this one time, I open my heart, I open my mind, and I prepare to listen as Reverend Diana continues leading us in a discussion of love has everything to do with it. This is going to get interesting. Speaking my words into law, knowing that I already know, so I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, and so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.
Thank you, Lucinda. Beautiful opening of the space for our conversation this morning. You brave souls, you're here and not out in the sunshine. Thank you for being here this morning. It's because, the sun is out. We're not brave. So welcome or welcome back. And if you are here for the first time online or in the room today, my name is Reverend Diana Johnson, and I'm the pastor and spiritual director for Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. We are an independent interfaith community. We teach universal principles and practical spirituality. And I trust that you will be led to something today in somebody's words or another that will guide you inward to your own mystic heart, because that's where your answers are. We don't pretend to have any answers for anybody. So let's begin with our opening music this morning. And if you feel so inclined, you can always get up and move and dance. We like that kind of thing.
Welcome to the Mystic Heart. Join the celebration. Lift your voice and sing your part. Make this affirmation. Spirit made us family with loving hearts to share. Together we are joyfully practicing the possible through prayer. And everything's possible through prayer. Welcome to the Mystic Heart.
I missed this last week. I mean, I heard it, but just me and you. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, 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 hey. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Say hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody we. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. All right. So for the last time this month, our changeable song. Join in. I let love, let it shine through me, for the whole world to see. It's all there is. I let love, I let it shine through me, for the whole world to see. It's all there is. It's all there is. Want to have a little joy? Well, I let joy, I let it shine through me, for the whole world to see. It's all there is. I let joy, I let it live in me, for the whole world to see. It's all there is. It's all there is. I let peace, I let it shine in me for the whole world to see. It's all there is. I let peace, I let it live in me for the whole world to see. It's all there is. It's all there is. Get a little grace. I let grace, I let it shine in me for the whole world to see. It's all there is. I let grace, I let it live in me for the whole world to see. It's all there is. It's all there is. Gotta get some compassion in there. I let compassion, I let it shine in me for the whole world to see. It's all there is. I let compassion, I let it live in me for the whole world to see. It's all there is. It's all there is. And then we're going to return to love, because that's what we do. I let love, I let it shine in me for the whole world to see. It's all there is. I let love, I let it live in me for the whole world to see. It's all there is. It's all there is. It's all there is.
Thank you, Andy Anderson, for the
Thank
great
you,
song.
Andy Anderson. What a great song. So let's keep that powerful energy going and growing right now as we join in the sacred practice of envisioning a love-soaked world. This is our liturgy. I've been told we have a liturgy. This is our liturgy. We enter our vision this morning finding ourselves living in a world where all humans are living from their deepest wisdom, their most generous and loving nature, thoughtful about the impact that their thoughts and words and actions have on one another, on the community, on the world. This is a world without greed, where there is abundance in having enough, where all needs are met gracefully and easily, where nutritious food, clean water, and pure sweet air are readily available to all, no matter where you live or which family you were born into. Where warm and comfortable and affordable housing is a given. Where all beings feel a sense of safety, belonging, and contribution. Where mental and physical health, education, and healthy relationships are supported by social systems grounded in integrity, grounded in wholeness, honesty, and light. Feel and know with me now a world where all beings work and play at whatever feeds their souls and are well compensated for their service. All are valued and respected for their inherent goodness. Authenticity and vulnerability are not only welcomed but celebrated. The peace we have cultivated within ourselves as human beings shows up as a world free of violence, hatred, or indifference. The love that we are here to share is given freely to whomever our hearts are called to love.
Amen.
We have moved beyond all lines of separation and live as one human family, caring for one beautiful planet and all that she contains and sustains. By the power of our collective intention, our powerful imagining, and inspired action, transformation is happening now. We're creating a world that works for all beings. We are not caught up in appearances. Like the prophet of old, we are doing a good work and cannot come down.
Amen.
Will not come down. It is through our hands, our feet, our hearts, and our voices that positive change is happening as we align our actions with our vision, living these changes in our own lives, with our families, with our neighbors, and with those in other countries. This community stands as an open and welcoming place for all who seek support, belonging, and a sense of family. It redefines church as a place of self-discovery, authenticity, kindness, radical inclusion, and love. We're guided to the truth that lies within every heart. By the creative power of our deep knowing, our clear vision, and inspired action, this prayer is acted upon here and now. A prayer spoken and deeply felt is a prayer answered. In full expectation, full acceptance of its graceful unfolding, and with the deepest humility and soul-felt gratitude, we release our word to the one who gets it done, and so it is. Amen. Satu. Aho. Ashe. All the things. All the things. All the same thing. That's right. So, take a look around. Somebody might have snuck in just a minute ago. Good morning, Amanda and River. Good to see you. So our theme this month is a return to love. This is the last Sunday on that theme. Not that we won't talk about love all the time, because that's kind of all there is. So the song says. Right, yeah. The topic of conversation this morning for Taizé was love has everything to do with it. And if you were here for Taizé, you'll know that we contemplated some ideas, and I'm just going to do a very brief recap of those ideas. The first is, Spirit can do for me only that which I allow it to do through me. There's no sky god out there, is there? I don't know. Maybe there is. What do I know? You and I are vehicles through which the infinite, by whatever name you call that, the infinite flow of love moves. It moves through us. We're self-reflective human creatures that have that capacity. Then the more that I allow this flow to move through me, the greater my expression of spirit in the world becomes. Oh, not that again. Oh.
Thinking about my actions on Friday.
Oh. This is not a guilt session. Not a guilt session.
Friday's gone forever.
That's right. Gone forever. Beginning again in every moment, right?
That's it, man.
Yeah.
You will often find a guilty face in here because Reverend Diana doesn't pull her punches.
It's that we're self-reflective, and we know when we've stepped, and we have the choice to start again.
But my choice just went out the door.
Oh,
Moment.
I know.
When you said that, I went, oh,
Happens to all of
Friday.
us. Happens to all of us for sure. But the more freely and lovingly that I give of myself, the greater the flow of love that moves through every area of my life. That's just how that seems to work. And yet, we talked about, we don't give so that we'll receive. That's not pure giving. That's not pure service. So we give from a sincere desire to be of service, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. So I'm going to pause there. Does any of that ring true for you? That question is there.
Absolutely.
Look at that. I could have planted that there. Anything that wants to be shared around that idea before we review the other ideas?
Just the idea that it's not a transaction, I know that tithing gets taught as a transaction. If you give, the more you give, the more you'll receive,
Right.
so but it's not that. God doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Because God lives within us and knows our motivation. And if it's not pure, it's not,
Right.
that's going to show up in the
Yeah.
demonstration.
Go, Michael.
I agree with what Chris just said, but in a different way. I think that the more we give, the more we receive, but it's in ourselves that we receive it.
Mm-hmm.
We feel better when we give to others. It's sort of like, to sound purely selfish, I feel better when I give to others.
Right.
So I hate to think that I give to others just so that I feel, because then it's transactional again.
Right, yeah.
And that's not what I mean,
Right.
but it happens that way.
It does.
Yeah.
So you give and that feels good.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
things that feel good are things you want to repeat because they feel good.
Right.
And I think that whatever the great mystery that's going on here, it seems to be spiritual principle that it responds by corresponding to, like you said, our motivation, our purity of thought, our intention for giving. You know, there's nothing wrong with feeling good when you're giving to somebody. I mean, that's natural. It's part of the giving itself that it feels good.
Well, it's the love that we share.
It's the love. Yeah,
That
love
we're giving.
feels good, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if we are giving solely with an expectation that in equal measure now we better get it back, that's where we get into trouble because your motivation's not pure there.
Or if you're giving so that it looks good.
Or so that it looks good. Yeah.
There's a lot of
Look
that.
at me.
Yeah.
Look what I'm doing. Yeah. This mystery seems to respond to the what's really going on in there, not to what we hope is being seen by other people. Yeah. So another idea we reflected on is that it is the depth of the love we have felt for another, the many ways we've willingly given of ourselves to another being, that determines the depth of our grief upon losing that person. So that there's a balance and a harmony and an equal measure about the depth of our love and the depth of our grief. Thoughts about that? Because in meditation we don't have a chance to talk about it at all, it's just an inner reflection.
Well, it makes perfect sense. I mean,
Okay.
it's just, the deeper the love is going to be the deeper the pain on losing that love.
Right.
Can't lose love, but you know what I mean, losing that person on the physical plane.
It's pretty straightforward, seems like to me, but just curious as to what, yes?
Am I the devil's advocate today or what?
Probably.
That's the enigma though, because you know that they are in a better place. They have gone on to their next get to
So
be.
whatever, right.
And they are with spirit or God or whatever we want to call that matrix.
Right.
And so we have to be happy for them. I mean, that's the whole, like in celebrations of love, of life, I'm sorry. To me, it's almost a celebration of death. I
Right.
think births are wonderful, happy things. Well, to me, I think deaths are too.
Right.
We just need to be able to adjust our
Yeah.
thinking of it, and maybe it's our egos that say, "Oh, poor me, I lost so and so. They're not here to be my friend anymore." That's. I think we need to think of them. Where is their soul? You know.
Right.
How much better they are off.
Yeah.
With
Uh-huh. Thank you.
I just had a thought. Maybe that is why some people may have a harder time intimately connecting because they're afraid of
Right.
the grief they will feel
Yeah.
Right on.
if they're separated
Yeah.
from it.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard people even say that with animals. I will never get another dog because
Yeah.
it was so hard to lose the last one. I just won't do it. Like, oh, how sad to cut yourself off from that love.
Garth Brooks did a song, it was called The Dance,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about if you never took the chance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
That, you know, yeah, you're gonna go through some pain, but
Right. If I
otherwise,
hadn't, I
well,
would have
you
missed
just
the dance.
close in.
Yeah, yeah, Great song.
I had a friend who just recently lost her mother. She's almost 100. And so I texted her and told her I was sorry for her loss. And she responded and said, Mom is in a place where she's happy and she's with my daughter.
Wow.
My friend lost her daughter about 30 years ago. And so she said, Mom with her.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for her, that she's in a happy place.
Yeah.
That she just was happy for her. She didn't have a lot of sorrow. She let
Right.
that go and then know she's happy.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
clearly, if we miss someone that we've spent a lot of time and love with, there's going to be a missing place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, are we happy for the being that's transitioned on,
Mm-hmm.
a new birth? And are we just a little sad within ourselves because we miss that? And there's nothing,
A little bit.
nothing wrong with that. Oh, I didn't know if your hand was up.
Nope.
You want a hat? Okay. Chris?
I was just to say, the other thing we see often is somebody is afraid to grieve fully.
Yeah.
I'm afraid if I start crying, I'll never
I'll
stop.
never stop.
And,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of one friend that it was probably 5 or 6 months after her husband passed that she finally let it loose, and after that it was cathartic. After that
Right.
she was able to see him,
Yeah.
not in a body that's racked with pain, but he's graduated from that.
There you go.
Wherever he's at, he's in a better shape.
Yeah. Yes.
That must mean there's a great sadness then for folks who don't have that kind of awareness of that eternality of
Right.
the spirit, and that there is life beyond this physical realm that we know and are attached to.
Yeah.
So that must be extremely painful
Yeah.
for someone who doesn't have that sense of knowing.
Yeah, a lot of fear around
Mhm.
death. I have brothers. I'm the only person with any kind of spiritual leaning or awareness in my family. Well, except for one cousin who's a fundamentals Christian, which is fine. But my brother one time said to me, what if all this stuff you believe, what if when you die, kaput, you're just done? And you're wrong about all of this. What then? And I said, well, if it led me to living a happier, more peaceful life, to have those beliefs, to not fear death, to be loving to people, how has it harmed me?
That's right.
So I get to the end and kaput, it's not true. All right. I still lived a happier life because of my beliefs. And he didn't really have an answer for that. They've given up a long time ago now, trying to convert me to atheism. Whatever.
Although they've attended a couple of times.
They have attended a couple times. They find it interesting what we're doing here.
Well, it's interesting when you talk about atheism. When they argue it, in the back of their mind, there's something there about God
Right.
for them to argue.
Yeah.
There's some kind of a belief back there somewhere.
Right.
Good to bring it up.
It's all just different belief systems. We all have them, right?
Yeah.
Belief system, BS. We all have BS.
I wonder if it's not so much that they don't believe, it's they're pissed off. That
Yeah.
that somehow God has let them down in some capacity,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. But I'm wondering, and I'm going to speak because I think part of that goes on in my son,
Uh-huh.
because of pain that he's experienced,
Right.
that there can't be a God if this exists.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
they're kind of pissed off at
Yeah.
the whole notion,
The whole notion of
Right.
something like
this divine
that.
being,
Right.
if you see all this ugliness.
Yeah.
I think that there is a broad spectrum in the
Yes.
world of atheism, just like there is in any kind of spirituality.
Right.
And in some ways, there is, I think, like their own spirituality.
Mhm.
And it can, we're all on this path, so I think people can go in and out of that, and I think that, I don't know, I just think that I was once atheist, and it actually led me to a more spiritual path.
Mhm.
And part of that is the belief that what happens here and now is so important. And that's
Yes.
an atheist in part belief, but it's also in other religions, and
Right. Mhm.
it really had helped me on my
Mhm.
journey.
Yeah, it can be very helpful to go through periods. And my brothers are all they seem like happy people, so I put judgment around that. It's
Yeah.
just,
I'm really glad that you said that, because I think it's true that atheism
Mhm.
is a spiritual path. I don't
Mhm.
disagree, and I think
Yeah.
that's nice you said that out loud.
yeah.
Because I also know that people who are immersed in religion
Mhm.
come to a point of tests of faith
Right.
where they would be considered non-believers.
Right, yeah.
So I think you're right. All of these different things that we go through are our spiritual
Right.
paths.
Our whole life is our spiritual path, whether we want to call it that or not, is up to us.
And finding out that it's just right now that matters.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
There is nothing else.
David and then Michael.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a good analogy or not, but it feels like a lot of conventional spiritual religious things are looking at a force or a spirit or something outside of them.
Mhm.
And maybe an atheist is going, no, I am the center of
Right.
whatever. And
Yeah.
you might see God within,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Which
we would agree
always-
with, yes.
Yeah.
I am.
and- yeah.
I am. Spirit
Right,
does live within
yeah.
and through.
So you're
and
not
us.
looking out there to find it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Thank you. Michael?
To amplify what Chris just said here, it is said that toward the very end of her life, Mother Teresa had some very doubts about her faith.
Right.
About God, about Christ.
Yeah.
I have heard that she actually felt that God had let her down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, in
know
her
if that's true or
journals. Yeah, in her journals, she has quite a few reflections to that,
Yeah.
of that nature.
Hmm.
Yeah, so, you know?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Well, but maybe that stems from how we were defining God.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
I think our salvation is redefining this God within, as opposed to hanging on to this God outside
Yeah.
of us.
Right.
And I think that's what we're coming to, is we need this awareness, this redefinition about what and who God really is. God isn't one person, God is many persons and many expressions, but we were not taught that
No.
in traditional religion that I experienced.
Right. Same was true for me. We weren't a very heavily churched family, but I sought it out when I was a kid. And in none of the places I went was I told that.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so I'm going to move us to the next point here. Because finally we said at the end of Taizé that
Are you finished with your
moving
comments?
between, thank you, I appreciate it, moving between flowing between, I guess, love and grief, back and forth throughout our lives, as we do many times. We might lose a pet, we might lose people in our lives. That when we move back and forth again and again, we come to know our own capacities as human beings and as divine beings. And we begin to recognize the love that dwells within us even in the midst of sorrow, that it's always there. And then we choose again and again in service to something greater than ourselves. And as we do that, we move into a greater sense of wholeness as beings. So that was where we went with our meditation this morning. So before we use this as a springboard for our conversation, do you have any more thoughts to share about the dance between love and grief and how it might help bring us into a greater state of wholeness?
Well, a couple of things that I was thinking about as I was listening. I had a nephew who was very, very, very faithful Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And once he came out, everything went south. He got a lot of flack from his family. It was a devout family thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just about everyone, and he stood true to who he was, but he felt that God had turned his back on him. But all these examples are more along the lines of religion
Mm-hmm.
is what turned its back. Your religious belief system
Yeah.
is what didn't follow through for that. And I think that you're stronger once you get to a point where you're not relying on that anymore.
Yeah.
And he is atheist now,
Mm-hmm.
but he's happy,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's part of his path.
Yeah, and he
Can
has
be.
his own spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
his own faith that he believes in.
Mhm.
He just doesn't believe in God anymore. And maybe some of these people who are like that come to realize that it wasn't God, it was religion.
Yeah.
You know, I know that feeling of thinking that God's turned his back on you,
Mhm.
only to find out it was you that turned your back on God.
Oops.
You know, so that would be my hope in these
Yeah.
sorts of circumstances. But it's not about finding a new religion, it's about finding peace and love within yourself.
Right, yes. So it's the doctrine and the dogma that creates the difficulty, right? And the way that we're taught to label and see what God is. That word is such a trigger for so many people.
Yeah.
I use it more freely now than I used to. I try to mix it up with all kinds of different names because it does trigger so many people so much of the time. But you have to know when I'm saying that word, I'm not seeing any guy in the sky with the beard and the robes and the thing. I mean, that's, for me, it's an energetic, it's a set of principles. It is a flow of love. It's something you can't really name. And because I'm comfortable with the word, I throw it out there. But I do try to mix it up a bit.
I started using the word because I was not comfortable with it.
Uh-huh. Get comfortable.
Yeah, better.
Right, yeah. Yeah. We always laugh when people laugh when I say I'm here to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. So
And
there
she's
we
very
are.
good at it.
I love it.
Chris?
I just wanted to return to your brother, who's an atheist, but to me, when I look at the life he lives,
Yeah,
it could be a model Christian life.
could be.
He's in service to his community, he's
Yeah.
in service to his students,
Mhm.
and he's just, he's very giving, very loving, very
Yeah.
generous, and
Could be a model Buddhist. He could be a
Yeah.
model Hindu. He could be, he's just a good guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Spiritual human being
Right.
expressing.
Spiritual human being expressing. Okay, so we're going to make a right turn here, and still related to our topic, but based on something that I read last week. I've been checking in on the Science of Mind magazine because I like the direction that it's taking right now. It's going heavy social justice,
Oh,
which
wow.
it did not do for such a long time.
Maybe it's a left turn.
Maybe it's a left turn. Could be a left turn. That's good. I should
That
have
was
thought
good,
that one.
yeah. That's like the Boyer and the credenza thing, yeah.
Right. Make a left turn. Okay. So I'm going to start with a question. What is it that gives you hope in the world today as it is? Is there anything that gives you hope?
My hope is seeing the many diverse people resisting that darkness that is
Mm-hmm.
kind of trying to envelop us. And there's a resistance to it, but a resistance to it out of love for one another. And I think that's so healthy. And I see some people sometimes posting on these social platforms, some of these young people that are, this isn't right stuff. We
Right.
need to get a little bit of hair on fire here and stand up and get into some
Right,
good trouble.
exactly.
And, there's even a little bit of disappointment that more people aren't.
Yeah,
How do you want to let all this go?
right.
And maybe, not that this is perfect, but it certainly could be tweaked so it's much more inclusive and helpful for everyone to pursue
Yeah.
life, liberty,
That's the whole-
and
Right.
all of that. Hands up, not handouts,
Yeah.
but hands up.
Nice.
So,
So
yeah,
that
it
gives
gives
you
me a
hope.
lot of hope.
All right.
It's messy.
Yeah,
And-
change is messy.
Yeah, and it doesn't make me smile sometimes, but I still
Right.
have that underlying joy that
Yeah.
it's gonna work out, but I just don't know what it's gonna look like.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Michael?
I see a lot of hope in the younger people.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they seem to be pretty much colorblind. They seem to be gender blind. I mean, they're a completely different breed than my generation was.
Right.
And it's taken me an adjustment, a big time adjustment to,
Mm-hmm.
wow, look, what's all this LGBTQ alphabet stuff? What is all this?
Right.
It's and as I've had to adjust to what I first of all considered to be rather weird thinking, I've realized, oh my God, yes, they're right. Why didn't I grow up like that? Why did I grow up in this prejudice, hatred? I grew up in
Patriarchy.
Patriarchy,
Yeah.
in
yes,
Detroit
it's
as a
bad.
child, where
Yeah.
wow, I mean, hatred was, that's, you breathed it in the air,
Yeah.
In fact, well, I never tell that story, but anyway. Anyway, so that's what gives me hope,
Mhm.
is the open-mindedness, the
Right.
acceptance
Yeah.
of the younger generation.
Yeah.
Just right on,
Yeah. Great. I'm with you on that too.
I was gonna.
Oh, no, Renee, and then let's.
Or do you want me to
Go
first?
No, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, like, just watching what's going on in our country, if something is obviously changing, if there's so much resistance
Right.
to it.
Yeah.
So I think, I personally, I think, just candidly, I think I felt really like pissed off,
Mhm.
probably like maybe more 4 years ago.
Right.
About stuff I was seeing in the news, and just like, I think I felt a lot of anger for like years, just like felt really
Mhm.
judgmental towards people and like my family, and
Yeah.
and I started, you guys don't really know me because it's my first time here, but like I'm recovering from an injury. I'm having to live with my folks right now who are very conservative.
Mhm.
And I'm watching, because of the conversations I'm having with my mom and my stepdad, who are in their mid to late 60s.
Mhm.
We're having all these conversations about race or gay rights or this or that, and they are like, within like, I would say 4 or 5 years, they've almost like completely changed.
Mhm.
Not like fully to the point where like me and my sister are at, but in a way where they realize, because of their Christian indoctrination,
Mhm.
like that they couldn't see the hugeness of God's love for everybody.
Yeah.
And so my stepdad just recently, we're watching the show called The Voice, which is, I'm sure you guys have heard of it. And there's last season there was like a gay guy that went to Martin Luther King's church in Selma, and he was like a worship leader, and he's like super flamboyant, amazing voice, kind of like a male Whitney Houston. And Reba McEntire, who's like a white Christian lady, the whole time was like affirming him, and she was his coach. She's like, I just see God in you when you sing, and she was like just showing so much love to this gay man the entire season. And my stepdad, who was like pretty homophobic, like
Mhm.
when I first met him. It like affected him in such a way that like he was like, when that guy has an album, I want to like listen to it. And he said recently, probably like 3 months ago, that God like kind of spoke to him
Mhm.
in his heart that like everyone is God's child and that he wants him to learn how to love gay people.
Wow.
And he like was like had tears and stuff like that. And so I guess for me, just like the change I'm seeing in my family
Uh-huh.
around all that, it gives
Yeah.
me hope because it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how old you are. You know, sorry, I'm not trying to make anyone feel,
No,
but I'm just
no.
saying like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying in my own personal life that activism is important, but like your own relationships and
Yes.
how you're having like gracious conversations with
Right.
people that are different than you is like really important.
Yeah, it is really important.
Yeah, and not like being hateful or rude to people if they're like
Yeah.
saying something that offends you, because
Right.
like I think learning how to have those hard conversations is important.
Yes, it is, because that's what it's gonna take to get to the other side of this, whatever this is we're going through, this change. There's
Yeah.
a lot of hard conversations are gonna need to happen
Yeah.
peacefully and respectfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
David, and then Lucinda, and then, oh, no, wait, Lucinda was, yeah, Lucinda, then David, then Chris. Okay, I keep it straight.
Well, I think that what gives me hope is that there are conversations like this
Right.
going on all over towns with the political conservatism, towns like Reading and
Yeah.
and that these conversations are becoming louder and louder and
Right.
louder.
Yeah.
And this is not about what's going on at the top, the chaos, the confusion, and the last throes of an old generation.
Right,
This is about a new layer of love rising up,
yeah,
and that gives me hope.
all right, thank you.
I flash back on being a protester in the 60s. And, it was us against them. And so even though we thought we had a righteous idea of how you should let people live, be,
Right.
it was a angry way of expressing it.
Yeah.
And it took me another 30 years to figure out, oh, this doesn't work too good, does it?
Yeah.
So then I realized that you got to awaken people. You can't hate people. You know? And that's what's going on, is this big awakening.
Yeah.
And so this morning I was taking a shower and I flipped on the radio, and what's playing but one song I got up on my wall in front of the piano, The Times They Are A-Changin'.
Mhm.
And there couldn't be a
Yeah.
better song about what's going down.
Yeah,
You know?
changing fast right now.
Yeah, no.
Yay.
Yay is right.
Right
you know? So look at what happened, you know,
Right.
through something you didn't want to see. 5 million people have come out and gone, hey, hold on,
Right.
this is not what we choose.
Yeah.
And the power is with the people.
Right. It is. Thank you. Chris?
First of all, Renee, thank you very much for sharing that story, because in my view, you're absolutely right. Having these conversations with family and friends and acquaintances is going to make the difference, because that's how it bubbles up from the bottom to the top, not the top down. But we can influence the top because of the power to the people. And that really is what that Darwin theory was. Those folks, those creatures, that habitat that can adapt to the
Right.
what is the survival.
Right, right.
And that'll be the perpetuation, our willingness to adapt, to rethink, relearn, and understand where we've come from and where we want to go. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, all of you
Yeah.
here.
Thank you.
Is
Okay, I'm gonna jump into where I was going now. It may be a little shorter than I intended, but that's okay. It's just what it needs to be every week. So I'm gonna share something, just bits from this article by John Pavlovitz. Some of us know who John Pavlovitz is.
A bigger table, huh?
Bigger table. He has a
Podcast.
I'm thinking of his blog site, actually. He has podcasts and a blog site called This Beautiful Mess. And this article was online February 14th of 24, so it's been reprinted by his permission. And the title is Stop Saying Love Wins. So this guy, I really support who he is and what he's doing. I don't align with his languaging a lot of time. He uses a lot of fighting and warring and warrior and language, and that's not my way. I'm more stand in your spiritual, authentic power and peacefully. You can be just as, if not more, influential that way. So I'm gonna pick and choose through this with what I present, because some of his languaging I'm not fond of. But it's an excellent article, so if you look him up online and want to read the whole thing, I recommend it. So he says, love's victory is not inevitable. We have to fight for it. I would say we have to stand up for it. That's just my way of approaching it. So he asked on social media the same question I just asked you. What is it that gives you hope? And he said lots of answers came back. Dogs, lots and lots of dogs came back. Dogs give me hope. He said, yet there was an unsettling pattern to many of the responses too. Despite every breakdown of our election processes, legislative safeguards, and constitutional protections over the past few years, and despite being perpetually let down and betrayed by elected officials and church leaders and federal judges, far too many people still inexplicably are waiting for saviors and superheroes. They say, I believe that love wins. I have faith that God will make things right. I trust that goodness will persevere. The prevailing wisdom still seems to be that love and God and someone out there are going to save the day. I wish it were that simple. It would be nice if it were that cheap and clean a proposition. Offer up some skyward prayers or make a public floodlight appeal to the heavens and wait for inevitable rescue. So let's pause right there for a moment. Because when I read this, well, let me ask you first, do you believe that love always wins? Do you believe that all things are, I say this often, all things are ultimately turned to good?
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Yes.
I think it has the potential, but there has to be a willingness to want to see and receive and be that love. It's not just that simple. There's work involved.
Okay. Lucinda and Chris?
I think it has to do with your own spiritual path.
Okay.
Whether love wins. If you're here this time to experience that, you absolutely will.
Okay. Chris?
I'm reminded of the Martin Luther King quote that the arc of the universe is long, but it bends toward justice. But the only way it bends toward justice is if we're acting from that sense of justice. Because God has no hands and feet. God can't swoop in and save the day, other than through us, through the people that he enlists in the plan.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Michael?
I believe it's what we're looking for.
Okay.
I mean, what you expect to see, what you wish to see, what you're praying to see. That's what's going to happen.
That's what you're going to find.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
you're looking for.
Yeah, I think I agree with Michael. It's what we are bringing forth, what's in ourselves, in our subconsciousness, and partly our lessons that we need to learn. But I do think overall that statement is true.
Yes, I know
Okay.
exactly what you're saying. It may take a long time.
Yeah. Lucinda.
No.
I'm thinking about those pens that are still up there in the front that we can get, and I really like what it says, I am a safe place. I think that if more and more and more of us see it that way, it's not about is love going to win, it's going to be about each one of us being a safe space for any kind of love,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Chris?
It occurs to me, though, that if love wins, if there's a winner, there's a loser, right? So, so I think maybe in terms of winners and losers, love doesn't win, but I think love prevails.
There you go.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're here very often, you know that I use these phrases all the time. All things are always turned to good, ultimately. That's my belief system. But I would like to clarify what I mean when I say that. I'm not a Pollyanna. I'm not ignoring the problems in the world or the need for our involvement in solving them. I believe, what that means to me is that I believe in evolution and that life is unfolding according to a framework of spiritual principles that are in place. One of them I mentioned earlier, that whatever we call that great mystery responds to our thoughts, words, and actions by corresponding to them and bringing us more of the same. That evolution moves all of life toward greater complexity and greater unity. So this is something that's just happening. That's how I would define turning all things to good, is moving it forward. I believe in a higher power. I believe in a great mystery and an infinite intelligence that's at work in all things all the time. And when I refer to God's love, I'm talking about this intelligence taking form as creation. So it's this energy, or whatever you want to call it, taking form. I believe that each form, life form, is given a certain amount of sentience and agency. I believe that that's, gradation. So a rock has less sentience and therefore agency than maybe a lizard. And then a human would be on a different scale, but that all of life has that within it. I believe that those life forms that adapt in response to conditions and environments are the ones that survive. And that's just part of the way things work. So when I say that things are always being used for good, what I mean is that ultimately life will go on. Love, or the self-givingness of spirit, is eternal. It's constant. So life will go on. The question becomes, which life forms will continue to evolve and thrive, and which ones will not? We are just one of those life forms. So that's another conversation for another day. So when I say all is being turned to good, all of that is encompassed in what I'm saying. It's not just this, Pollyanna, oh, don't worry about it. It's more of a, this is how things work. There's nothing we can do about how things work. So going back to our article, I'm going to read another short section. So he says, that's not how this is going to work. No, contrary to the t-shirts and memes, love will not win on its own simply because. Courageous, empathetic, pissed off people, armed with sacrificial love, fully participating in the political process and relentlessly engaging the broken systems around them, will win. Wherever the disparate, sprawling army of compassionate human beings spend themselves on behalf of other people, when they keep going despite being exhausted, he chokes me up, when they refuse to tire of doing the right thing, when they will not be shamed into silence, then love will be winning. Love isn't some mysterious force outside of our grasp and beyond our efforts that exists disconnected from us. It is not supernatural magic, it's hard-ass work. The tangible cause and effect of giving a damn about our families, neighbors, and strangers, the exercising that impulse in measurable ways, is hard work. Love is ornamental and worthless until it moves from aspiration to incarnation. Okay, I'm going to pause. Love is ornamental and worthless until it moves us from aspiration to incarnation. That's a strong statement. Chris?
Came to me in meditation a couple of days ago that everything is perfect just the way it is. That's a spiritual truth.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that we don't have work to do.
Right.
It means that our work is clear. You know,
Yes.
what we're being called to do is very clear.
Yeah.
But, so the perfection of what is doesn't let us off the hook.
No. It just means that it's unfolding the way it's supposed to be unfolding. It doesn't look necessarily beautiful in any given moment. But it is all unfolding according to principles that are in existence.
Okay, first of all, you know that I have an issue with him saying that these things will happen.
Yes.
Because with all my extensive training, these things are happening right now. And I think that it's important for each and every one of us. I mean, it's a long time since we've talked about it, but for each of us to sit down, do our spiritual work, and listen to what is ours to do today.
Mm-hmm. Right.
How can I show love today? What can I do today? And I don't care if anybody else knows what I'm doing or anything like
Right.
that. I see a need, I take care of it. But it's so important for us to just listen to our own hearts,
Yeah.
to know where it is right for us to go
Right.
today.
Yeah. We're the only ones that can sense our own guidance and then take action.
I think there's a wave of realizing compassion is not a weakness that's coming from the top administration. Compassion has become strength
Yes.
through leaders like Mary and Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't fare well in the election, but I think
Right.
her message is coming through.
Yeah.
And you could see that in past leaders like Jimmy Carter. Who
Right.
pushed compassion
Yeah.
and concern for people that aren't as fortunate as us. Kamala Harris, she preached.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that are smiling and pushing compassion.
Right.
The fear mongers kind of shut them down, and
Right.
that's gotta stop.
Yeah. It's stopping.
Good.
Right now.
It's in the process of stopping.
It seems like it's a recognizing of what is,
Mm-hmm.
identifying collectively what's going to work, and then what is ours individually to make that work.
Right.
It's that
We each have
active,
little pieces.
it's that active participation, and not everybody has a big, flashy job,
Right.
but it's the small,
It's, yeah.
little stuff we do with one another, conversations,
Right.
listening generously,
Yeah.
trying to recognize our own bias, prejudice, and preferences, and just seeing if that is still helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the things that are bringing us closer to the vision and bending that arc.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to read one last section here.
Food's almost ready.
He says, okay, we're almost done. Thank you.
You better hurry it up.
I know. I'll be quick, I promise.
No snoozing.
So we who harbor a ferocity for diverse humanity, born of our moral convictions and propelled by our spiritual centers, are going to need to move in order to make right all that is so terribly wrong. What will alter the story we find ourselves in is kind-hearted, prayerful people who reflect fully on the fractures and the malignancies and injustices in front of them, and decide they will change what they can change and do what they are able to do. This is exactly what you're talking about. Theology is embodied or it's useless. That's not to say that there aren't things working outside of what we can see and measure and quantify, but it means that we are able to do physical things, help and heal and give and protest and volunteer and canvass and vote. We have proximity and agency, and if we do those physical things in the small, close, here, now, and doable, then we will at least be able to welcome the mysteries, knowing we did all we could do with what was entrusted to us. It's good to believe in love and in a God of that love, but belief isn't enough. Our beliefs need to be embodied for the common good.
That's right.
Love will not win anything on its own. We need to live in such a way that we make sure that love through us wins. So I just quickly want to look at a couple of his quotes in there. And find them. There we go. Theology is embodied or it is useless. What does that mean? What is theology, first of all? We get these words all mixed up. Yes.
Spiritual teachings.
Okay.
I am reminded of Ernest Holmes. Realization is hallucination without application. So you realize something, but unless you apply it, it doesn't mean anything.
Realization without application is hallucination. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, theology is just one's understanding of God.
Right.
So
So the word itself means the study of God. So one's own understanding of God is the theology. So he's saying theology is useless unless it's embodied.
if it doesn't change you,
Okay.
it's
Right.
ornamental, like he says.
If it doesn't change you at a very fundamental level, and who you believe yourself to be, what you're called to in the world, what's your responsibility, what's your place, then what good is it doing if it changes nothing? What about, we have proximity and agency. What does that mean?
I'm guessing here. Does it mean that we can only change things in our own sphere of influence?
Okay, yeah. We have proximity. In other words, the things that are going on in the world right now are going on right now, in our lifetime, in our experience. Maybe in our own communities, or maybe in our own nation. So we have proximity to what's happening, and we have agency. What's that mean?
We can do something about it.
We can do something about it. We have the ability to act. We don't always choose to act, but we have the ability, the capacity for action. All right, I'm just going to say, is there anything else that wants to be shared right now around this conversation today? Yes.
I want to say bravo, excellent conversation,
Yes,
everybody.
Yes.
Excellent conversation.
Yes.
we did well.
We did well. Yes, we did. I'm getting braver about just bringing in what's sitting with me
Thank
for
you,
the week.
thank you.
And not worrying so much about what anybody thinks about things.
It's not your job to worry about.
That's right, it's not. Yeah, so he gets very colorful with his language and a little forceful for my taste, but it's an excellent article. His blogs are excellent.
But that language might be needed
Yeah,
for some of
For
the
some,
folks
right.
he's actually targeting.
right,
Mhm.
yeah.
So,
It might be doing its job.
yeah, because I can listen to it and I go, but I don't need to hear it that way.
Right.
But somebody else
Right.
might need to hear it
Yeah.
that way.
My only concern is that it might inflame anger,
The anger's
And
already
hostility.
there.
but,
It's
you're
all-
right.
Yeah,
It's
but you
already
don't
It's
want to
there.
stoke it.
Yeah, so, anyway, but he's
I did
excellent.
actually
He's-
want to share something
Uh-huh.
that I was kind of what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Like it's like the certain group of people that's going to get riled up to do something.
uh-huh,
And I read this book, it's called Nonviolent Communication
Mhm.
by Marshall
Rosenberg.
Rosenberg, yeah.
Yeah, a few years ago, and that was so like that did a lot of change in my mind, that
Uh-huh.
like being a non-judgmental person or non-violent with the way you speak, it starts in your mind.
Right.
And so I think in our country we're very judgmental how we talk about each other.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about what you're saying, and I listen to a lot of podcasts. I was listening to one yesterday where one woman's a comedian, one woman's like an actress, activist. And so they're sitting there like basically talking a lot of crap about Donald Trump and this and that, and kind of just like being very critical, right? And
Right.
saying all these stuff. And so the woman has like callers can call in to ask for advice.
Mhm.
So this woman's like, the caller is like really upset and like about what's happening politically, and she's asking for advice.
Mhm.
And so all of a sudden they like kind of change tune and tell her how to like serve her community and be loving and be activist and do this, but don't like get engulfed in anger. And I was thinking it's really interesting because I'm trying to stop insulting Donald Trump or stop insulting people that are different from me, because it's
Right.
really hard, it's really easy to do.
Yeah.
And I was thinking how they were trying to give her advice to be this really like conscious, loving, gracious activist that's not like engulfed in anger, but then like 20 minutes before,
Right.
they were just like, sorry if
Yeah.
I cuss, but they were talking a lot of shit. And so I was like going, wait a second, you're like telling her to be that way, but you're not. And
Right.
I was thinking, I think the whole thing is that you can be self-righteous no matter what group you're in.
Mhm.
So you're like upset that all these like, and I'm just speaking from my own experience, or like you're upset that all these people are being like self-righteous and judgmental,
Right.
but then you're being equally critical about them and not
Yeah.
compassion. So I feel like people like me, or that I maybe identify with or have community with, I think the whole growing pain right now is we don't really have a lot of role models
Right.
of what it looks like to
Right.
not talk like that,
Yes.
and how to actually be compassionate and gracious and like patient with people.
Yeah.
So I think there's like a lot of like immaturity right now.
Right,
And
yeah.
not a lot of mature leaders that are showing us what it looks like to befriend someone that's different than you, or how to like actually quelch the anger with something more
Right.
powerful. Because I'm looking at people and they're just saying what he's saying, like be an activist, vote. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
everyone's doing that.
Right.
But it's not really like it is doing things, but I think there's something bigger
Right.
that has to happen, and it is that
Yeah.
growth. And
Yeah.
I'm not there. I'm not like trying to be the Dalai Lama right now. I'm just like saying, I'm just saying like I'm noticing what I have to work on.
Yeah.
And that is like what I'm seeing in my peers, which
Right.
is like we want everyone to think like us and be like us.
Mhm.
But then we're being like really rude about how we're going about
Yeah.
talking about that.
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think you're right,
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of, yet, we don't have a lot of good, solid, very public examples.
Yeah.
And I
Some.
forever saying, I pray that the life that I am living and the person I'm being can serve as a positive example. I don't have to preach and teach and talk about my beliefs. I just need to live my beliefs. And then people will get that if they're supposed to. There and there and there.
I was reminded of the Carl Anthony song. We use a lot of his music here. Pray for people who hate. And there's a line in that that says, I must be out of my mind or deep in my faith.
Yeah.
But I think that's the essence of that nonviolent communication, is I can disagree with you without being contemptuous of you. And
Right.
there's so much contempt in the political arena
Yeah.
right now. And I kind of addressed that in the meditation earlier. You know, that's the biggest transformation, is when you can have a conversation with somebody that you completely disagree with without making them wrong.
Right. Without actually getting riled at all yourself, so that that energy has no way of showing up because it's not there. Yeah. Chris and then David.
I think it's important that I think what's happening is we're starting to recognize our anger, and we're working on learning how to handle that anger and make it constructive.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of learning that we're all doing, because it is easy to bash, and it is easy. And the hard work is to not
Right.
do that. But role models are real helpful.
Yeah, they are.
And maybe that's what we're being called to do, is to be the role models. So that means we have to work
Yeah.
on ourselves too. But I think we're not good with anger management yet,
Right.
and we're not good yet with, and I say yet because it's
Right.
evolving.
It is.
Yeah.
As we are conscious of why
Yeah.
we're angry,
Right.
acknowledge we're angry, and what can we do with that anger that's
Yeah.
constructive.
Because anger is a powerful energy. So if we can transform it,
Right.
completely transmute it into something equally as powerful but positive and peaceful,
Right.
what kind of power do we stand in then?
That's where the power lies. But you
Right.
do need that anger to recognize that something, acknowledge
Right.
something's not right.
Something's not right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. David? Thank you.
Well, to make it simpler, it occurs to me that just practicing non-judgment seems to be a very effective thing, because that don't even allow the anger to come
Right.
into it. Which,
Yeah. How many of us can go through an entire day without a preference?
I think we need a whole class on this.
I think so.
I thought you were raising your hand.
I do.
This is great.
well, we got one amongst us.
Let us know the names. We'll all be there.
Yeah. You lead it more time.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, let's close in prayer. Excuse me. Because River's ready for lunch.
That's right.
There has always been, is now, and will forever be one life. One all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful, and ever-present mystery from which all things come, from which all experience is born. There is nothing else. I am that, and so are you. A perfect and intentional expression of the divine. Here on purpose, with a purpose uniquely mine. Just as I am, and just as I am not. Nothing broken, missing, or out of place. Made in God's image and likeness with the powers of self-reflection, choice, and creation. I take full responsibility for the gifts I have been given. I consciously grow and polish them, humbled to know that each talent is an expression of spirit moving through me and is here to be shared. I show my gratitude by offering my gifts freely, that they might leave the world a more beautiful place. I am so blessed. Countless gifts and graces flow through every moment of my life, and I give thanks for each one. For this beautiful spiritual family, the ones that are here and the ones that are wandering about out there, never separated. I give thanks for this comfortable space where we gather many times each week, for the support and love and the sense of belonging that is offered to all who walk through the doors. I recognize that not all graces are comfortable, so I give thanks for the many ways that spirit or life moves me and our world to grow in character, patience, resilience, and faith. I move into a new week listening for divine guidance, committed to acting on what is offered. I know that it may come from any direction, so I am watchful, curious, expectant. With complete faith in the power of my word, trusting and knowing that a prayer spoken and deeply felt is a prayer answered, I let go and let God do their thing, and so it is.
And so it is.
Amen. Good conversation, y'all. Thank you. So nice to have a place to just do this. Yeah. So I invite you to join in the celebration of the work that we're doing in the world by sharing of your financial good if you're inclined to do so. And if you're at home, you can go to mysticheart.org where you'll find a donate button and a mailing address. And as we practice this sacred practice of circulation today, let's take a look at a fun video by Michael Franti, one of St. Michael, I call him. It's called Good Day for a Good Day.
Why does everybody in the world seem so divided? Why does everybody gotta hate each other? Who decided? If I took all the world's pride and all the world's money and wrapped it in a blanket and put it in a buggy, could you see that maybe that baby was just the same as you are? You know it's never been easy. Every day for everybody ain't breezy. And I hope you realize when you look into another person's eyes, you know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. All day long. All day long. Good days, please come more often. Everybody's in the streets out coughing. Smog in the air, gonna send you to your coffin. Plastic everywhere down there with the dolphins. Everybody was born to a mama, so everybody is connected like karma. So disconnect yourself from the drama. Everybody's trying to heal like trauma. You know it's never been easy. Every day for everybody ain't breezy. And I hope you realize when you look into another person's eyes, you know today will be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today will be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. You know today will be a very good day just to have a good day. And I say, hey, hey, put all my troubles to the side. And I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. And I say, hey, hey, put all my troubles to the side. And I say, today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. All day, hey, hey, all day long.
Was that a good day for a miracle day? Right here, right now, I say thank you so much for your continued love and support for Mystic Heart's mission. I love seeing the way it plays out in the world, whether it's supporting a different way of growing fruits and vegetables or supporting human beings getting back on track, whatever way it is. And maybe just taking a donation to a place that serves people. Thank you. And thank you for your support in all the other ways, the quiet ways that aren't real obvious. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, and so it is.
And so it is. Amen.
We're gonna sing and then we're gonna eat.
Ready?
All together, hand in hand, see the light can make a stand, and we are changing. All we life for you and me, take your past and set it free, and share this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, make good flow to you, let joy renew you till we meet again. Love me with you, ooh, 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 love me with you until we meet again. Love me with you, ooh, love me with you. Now breathe it in. Love me with you, ooh, love me with you until we meet again. Love me with you, ooh, love me with you. Now breathe it in. Love me with you.
We love you. I'm so glad you were here today. Please join us for lunch if you are so called.